Hello, citizens, and welcome back. This is our match reaction. Man City 2, Everton 0 in the Premier League. Make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Let's jump into it. God, this game was crap. If you haven't seen the game live, if you weren't there at the stadium, we didn't watch it on TV, and you're just going to watch Match of the Day, forget the highlights. There's no way this is going to be on. First off, on Match of the Day, it was an awful, awful game. A team that didn't quite get into rhythm against a team who didn't want to win the game and who hopefully go down, because they were shocking, we were bad. And the thing is, it started right at the beginning. Pep plays the wrong team for me. The lineup is all wrong. I get why he's doing it. We're playing Everton, not a big club, not an important club, not a good team. And he thought he'd rest some players who he thought were probably going to get kicked in a very physical matchup. So I get why he didn't start De Bruyne. I get why he didn't start Walker. But the lineup was still all wrong. If you're going to play Ake, Akanji, Diaz, and Stones at the back four, you put Stones in the middle, you put Akanji on the right-hand side, and you get Stones to step up alongside Rodri instead of Akanji. But, hey, that's what we got. And then in midfield, he's got Alvarez, Rodri, Nunez, Foden, Doku. For the love of God, why is he not playing Foden in the middle? He's put Alvarez back in there, and that experiment has to stop. The Alvarez in the middle experiment, it doesn't work. We're basically down to 10 men when he's in there because he just doesn't offer anything. He does a little bit of pressing every now and then, or should I say, he gives away a lot of free kicks when he presses. He's just there to take bloody corners at this point, and half of them are terrible. So he's got him in the middle. He's put Foden on the right-hand side after he just scored a hat-trick against whoever we last played, Brentford. Foden, who keeps saying he wants to play in the middle. Foden, who I think does the most damage in the middle, but it puts him on the right-hand side where he's ineffective because all we do is attack down the left-hand side with Doku, who was largely ineffective in that first half because they were doubling up on him with Young and the Branthwaite or someone, I don't even know. But whoever it was doubling up on him on the side. So Doku couldn't cut inside, which is he always wanted to do because he didn't want to go on the outside. So the first half, it was him just flicking his foot, trying to cut in. Didn't work. Which meant Haaland had no service, which meant Haaland wasn't in the game, which meant Haaland had to drop back. And it was just a disaster that first half. And Everton didn't offer anything. They just sat back defending. They blocked every shot we had because we didn't even have a shot off target. Every one of our shots was like 30 yards out and blocked. They didn't have to do much. They just played the long ball, tried to play to Calvert-Lewin to flick onto absolutely no one. You know, it was just one of those terrible, terrible first halves where we played at their pace and we played at their style. You know, they lowered us to their level. It was just a shocking first half. And Pep needed to mix up in the second half. He didn't to begin with. He just kept on going. But the players did come out with a little bit more urgency, did come out with a little bit more, just a little bit more to them. You know, there's a little bit more bite to their game in the second half. And it looked like it was going to peter out. It looked like it was going to be a dull 0-0 draw because we weren't really doing anything. And again, Everton just sat back, just soaked up the pressure because we weren't offering anything. Going long against Calvert-Lewin. They got a couple of half chances where they were offside. But then, fortunately for us, Pep does make the changes. He brings on De Bruyne, he brings on Walker, and immediately got the benefit from it. It did come from a corner that Alvarez took. And a bit of ricochet in the box, falls to Haaland, who's done absolutely not. Well, to be fair, Haaland has done something at this point, because before this, Haaland was the one that was dropping deep, going to the byline and cutting the ball across the 6-yard box for no one to tap in. Why Haaland's the one doing that, beyond me, because no one else was doing it. But force to Haaland, smashes it with his right foot. You know, Pickford can't keep it out, 1-0. And then, obviously, De Bruyne feeds it through. For his second goal, I thought the defender got it all wrong, whoever it was. I think it was Branthwaite. He got it all wrong. He thought De Bruyne was going to go on his right shoulder. He went on his left instead, and Haaland muscled him off the ball and slots it past Pickford. 2-0, game over. But look, this game should have been a lot different. You know, we like I said, we dropped to Everton's level, and you just can't do that, especially when you got the chance to go top of the league. I know we're not now, but it did put us top of the league for a couple of hours. We just have to do better. And the fact that we're letting teams like Everton dictate to us the speed of play is shocking. And the problem is, in these kind of games, when you don't get the early goal, when you sat there 0-0 with 20 minutes in or 45 minutes in at half-time, like we saw in the second half with Everton, every few minutes one of their players is going down, lying on his back, wasting time, you know, and you can blame Everton for it all you want, but it's our fault for not doing anything in the first half to stop that happening. They just time wasted, and it was so dull. It dragged out the game. It meant there was 10 minutes of injury time at the end of the game, which didn't need to be, because for 4 of those minutes, they didn't touch the ball. It was just an awful, awful game that they just, they didn't offer up anything, and like I said, we didn't really try. That's the frustrating thing. If you go out gung-ho and you get beat 1-0 on the counter-attack in the 90th minute, at least you've done something. We just didn't offer anything really for quite long periods at a time. Like I said, it comes down to Pep's lineup for me. It comes out, the Alvarez middle thing has got to stop. For the love of God, stop playing him at centre midfield to try and create anything when he doesn't create anything at all. If he doesn't cross the ball into my corner, he's doing nothing all game. And Haaland, like I said, largely ineffective unless he was creating the opportunities for someone else. Second half, Doku got a little bit better. He had a little bit of a stint for about 20 minutes where he did look dangerous because he was going on the outside, then he was going on the inside, then he was mixing up a little bit. He wasn't so predictable. But then he started slipping every few minutes and Pep, hauled him off for Bernardo, which was the right move as well. And like I said, right-hand side Foden was just largely ineffective because we always attack down the left-hand side for Doku. We try to use his pace, and Everton knew that. Everton defended it really well. But Haaland was, I would say Haaland's the difference because Haaland did force the 2 goals in, but I think bringing De Bruyne on, obviously he found space and he looks really up for the title fight, being out for so long. He looks up for it. And I think our press in the second half was much better. And I said in the match preview, you have to run at Pickford. You have to challenge him because on the ball, he's absolutely useless. He'll crumble. But we didn't put any pressure on them. We didn't press at all in that first half. There was 0 press in the second half. We did a little bit more pressing. But in the first half, there was a moment where Pickford could walk. I kid you not, he must have walked, and you won't see it on Match of Day, but he walked with the ball for about 20 yards, just strode out of the box with the ball, and not a single person went near him. We just stood there watching, and it frustrates me that because he's awful. And we saw it at Goodison Park not so long ago when we beat them 3-1. If you put him under pressure, he'll give you the ball, and we just didn't do it. But like I said, we did it a bit more in the second half because we were chasing the win. But yeah, awful game. Turned around for a decent stint in the second half, but yeah, like I said, I understand why Pep made the changes. I understand it. I get it. I understand that he doesn't want the players kicked. He doesn't want players injured, and he's kind of defending that. And Everton are the kind of team, they're just going to kick you. They're playing for set pieces. They want to rough you up a little bit. But you've got to put players in the right positions at least. And the one thing I will say as well is that Nunes has had a shocker today again. I mean, I thought he turned the corner for his last performance, but when he starts games for us, he just doesn't do the job. In the first half, there was a moment where he got to the ball ahead of Pickford. He's played through by Foden, I think it was, played through. He got there ahead of Pickford, but he balled it, and he just let Pickford clear it. When he actually got there first, where in contrast, I think it was Calvert-Lewin went flying in on Ederson, even though he was second to the ball. And that's the thing with some of these players, that they're just not. Whether it's match sharpness because he's not playing every game or he's just not in it at the moment, I don't know. But whatever it is, he didn't work today. And Pep should have changed that sooner. Whether you put Nunes on the right-hand side and put Foden in the middle, change it up a little bit because him in the middle with Alvarez was a disaster in that first half. And unfortunately, he looks like one of those confidence players, a bit like how Sterling was. When someone goes against him, he ain't going to play for the rest of the game. And in the second half, his attitude completely changed. There was a moment where the fans got on his back because they could see how poor he was doing. He was giving the ball away. He wasn't challenging. He wasn't giving his all, basically. And the crowd, I don't want to say they booed him, but they definitely let him know they weren't happy with him. And once that happened, he was throwing his arms in the air every time he passed the ball away. And Pep should have hauled him off at halftime, I thought. He shouldn't give them an extra 15 minutes. But, he's got to do better, Nunes. I think Doku's got to do better. Alvarez has got to do better. I think, fortunately for us, is our defense saved us today. I thought our defense was fantastic. There was times when Calvert-Lewin outmuscled Ake, when he outmuscled Diaz, and there were times when the referee should have given the free kick to us, but he gave it to them, which is appalling. But that's going to happen. He's a big boy, Calvert-Lewin. He's bigger than them. But I think the defense handled it quite well, to be honest with you. They handled crosses really well. And Haaland got man of the match for his 2 goals, and he's probably going to get a match of the day as well. But for me, Diaz is man of the match. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he marshaled that back line really, really well. But yeah, that's it, really. I'm going to save it for the play ratings. But yeah, that's it. That's match reaction. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out. Make sure to like button, hit subscribe as well. Let me know what you thought of the game. Bye-bye.